All right, we continue our SmackDown review with Drew McIntyre, and we're just going to do a little bit of a pit stop here with Drew McIntyre because I think it's important that we just stop and recognize that this guy is doing the absolute best work of his career right now. He is on another level character-wise. I think you can even make the argument he's the best character in WWE if you don't want to say it's Roman Reigns or Cody, as part of the story and all this. I mean, Drew is just doing things right now that are tremendous for a heel. Like it's next level type stuff. And so it kind of, you think about it, he had turned heel before the Royal Rumble. When you think about all the events that have happened after the Royal Rumble, with CM Punk getting injured and what happened when CM Punk got injured, what did Drew do? Well, decided to, of course, put this tweet out. And of course, he's selling the shirt now, talking about all the merch. He mentioned it on SmackDown here. He said, thanking everyone for buying the CM Punk shirt that he's put together here, and made sure he made it very clear that they're not, Punk's not going to be seeing any of the money from this. It's all about Drew McIntyre getting the money from this and how it's outsold Punk's other shirts and all of that stuff. And, from that standpoint, you look at it, and it's just kind of one of those things where he's been tremendous there. So that's one aspect, right? The events of Punk getting injured in the Rumble, Drew has really played into that with his character. Clearly, they're setting something up for whenever Punk returns. They're going to do the Drew versus Punk match, and it's going to be even better, right? Because Punk's not going to be on the screen that much. Drew's going to have to kind of carry this while he's injured, but he's pushing all the buttons right now. But then you take it a step further, right? And it's, okay, Cody has to make his decision. And who does Cody choose? We thought initially it was going to be Seth Rollins after the whole switch on SmackDown and everything. But he winds up choosing Roman Reigns. And what does Drew put out? On Twitter, he puts out this whole thing, right? About how, hey, I prayed for this and it happened. The same thing he said to CM Punk after the injury. And so when you look at all this stuff that Drew McIntyre has done here as the character, and if we go into SmackDown and we talk about kind of that opening promo that he had before the match with AJ Styles, which, we can go ahead, you guys know. I mean, Drew is officially qualified for the Elimination Chamber. We'll talk about that in a second. But pointing at all the stuff about the shirt, taking credit, for Cody deciding to choose Roman Reigns after, Drew just knocked Cody out, on Monday on Raw. And then, Drew kind of taking credit for saving WrestleMania and all this other stuff. And now, declaring that he's going to win the chamber and then go on to beat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. I hope everyone realizes it, and I think the WWE fans have certainly realized this just based on what we've seen Drew do over the past, 2.5 months now, something like that. I guess since he even before that, we sort of felt the wheels turning in terms of him being a heel and all that other stuff. But just how he continues to take this to another level. And he is really feeding into, we said it, if you look at any of the videos on the channel, we've talked about all the stuff going on with The Rock, Roman Reigns, Triple H, Cody Rhodes, like sort of the power dynamic and everything involved with that, how WWE's playing into the realistic aspect of some of these storylines. Well, Drew's doing the same thing with the Punk thing, right? Like, he's really feeding into the injury, feeding into the fact that we know that CM Punk, it was all about getting that WrestleMania main event. Drew taking credit for taking that away now because of the injury. So they're not just no-selling Punk's injury. They're letting Drew be the person, who takes the credit for it, which is what a heel should do. He should be the one who takes credit for injuring, the top babyface who was maybe in his path to getting what he wants. And we know what Drew wants. That is to win the World Heavyweight Championship, to get his rightful title reign in front of fans, to be in a WrestleMania main event spot, and to do it again with people there. Because as he's sort of said, he's taking credit for, keeping the business going during the pandemic. He was the champion then, but this would just be a completely different situation. And of course, it is a completely different character now that is in part built off of everything that took place during that run, because he never felt like he got the rightful respect that he deserved. He never got that opportunity. And now, he's out to basically take out anyone in his path. And I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you also saw it, the little 2-minute promo, I guess, that Drew did with his reaction to the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it already, we have multiple videos here on the channel with thoughts and reaction and review of that entire extravaganza, with lots of thoughts on where things are going with that top storyline. But, Drew's response and talking about Seth and all this other stuff and making it very clear that, this is your setup here. And now that he has qualified, of course, he beats AJ Styles here on SmackDown and, gets a little maybe, LA Knight getting involved, all this other stuff. But the big story is that Drew is going to head into the Elimination Chamber match as the favorite. I can't imagine there's anyone else, probably, if you did the betting odds right now, I don't know that anyone else would come close, no matter who qualifies. We know Randy Orton is also in that match right now, but it just seems too good, right? Like it's one of those things where when you think it's just so obvious, you almost start coming up with different plans in your mind. You're like, okay, what are they going to do to not give you the obvious? But sometimes in wrestling, you know what? The obvious is all you need. Like you just need the obvious thing. And there is no one that has more momentum. There's no one that sort of has fans more invested in their character right now than Drew McIntyre. So I think that, and we'll do our Elimination Chamber predictions and all that. We're going to have those coming soon here on the channel. There's still more people that have to qualify. We're going to do some Raw predictions with some thoughts on who's going to qualify maybe out of those two matches on Raw. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. LA Knight versus Ivar, but there's no question that because Drew McIntyre is doing, like I said, the best work of his career right now, he is just hitting on all cylinders. He has to be the favorite without question to not only win the Elimination Chamber match, but I think he's got to be the favorite to go into WrestleMania, be the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm not sure how they get there, not sure how they do it. We know Rollins, injured, and we know Drew's going to play into that and everything, being able to really play up the hillside of going after the injured babyface to take the championship, all these other things. How does Damian Priest factor into this mix? Do we get a Money in the Bank cash in somewhere along the way over the next couple months with this whole road to WrestleMania and beyond? That's also a possibility, but I think no matter what, because of what Drew is doing right now and because of how well it is getting over with the fans, I just think Drew McIntyre is your next World Heavyweight Champion because he's doing too good of work to not give him that opportunity. Now, of course, there is another factor at play, and I saved this for last for a reason. The whole contract situation with Drew McIntyre. Is he officially back? What's the contract status? All this other stuff. I've got to believe at this point, if WWE does not realize the value in Drew McIntyre and this whole contract situation, I'm not sure what they're thinking, and I don't think they would give him this big of an opportunity to really shine with this character here if there was not a sort of wink, wink, we will find a way to get this done aspect to it. But I don't know if there's an official report out there yet on the contract status or anything. I know that, as always, there's going to be rumors about whether he has re-signed and all this other stuff, but you've got to believe that with what Drew McIntyre is doing right now, he has upped that price considerably, perhaps, and rightfully, I think, based on just how good he has been in this current role that he's playing right now. Again, playing off of CM Punk, playing off of Cody Rhodes, playing off of Seth Rollins. He's your top heel, without question. In terms of the Raw side of things, sure, you're still going to have Roman Reigns, maybe The Rock added to the mix now, but Drew McIntyre's right there, because he is completely gotten over with what he's doing. And like I said, again, this is the best Drew McIntyre I've ever seen. I just think that he is really doing a lot of special things right now. So let me know what you think about Drew McIntyre's current run and whether you think that he is going to be the person who wins the Elimination Chamber and goes on to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40.